So as you've noticed, our helpers are in and amongst the audience right now, and they're distributing the action plans and the evaluation forms. So please, if you can take a few minutes and complete those before you go up to your room, that would be greatly appreciated. I was just thinking, like, digital spaghetti, size of your pistol. In the business, the comms business, we would call those drop the mic moments. Very tweetable, I like it. Very, very good. So we are at the end of the program. We're not gonna let you go quite yet. Bob and Ann are going to wrap things up for you. But before we do that, we have a treat. And so last year, those of you who were at the symposium in Turin will remember that we polled people throughout the event. And we asked them on camera to tell us how they would explain financial inclusion. We had a lot of fun with this video last year, so we decided to repeat the exercise again this year with a slightly different question. So here is the results.
Wait, sorry. I can't, too much pressure. Hold on.
This is hilarious, sorry. Client centricity is, firstly, respect, handling clients with dignity, and not just trying to create a warm and fuzzy feeling, but a real feeling.
Client centricity is meeting people where they are and building up from that.
Client centricity is the core of every business.
Client centricity is when you can define the difference between customer's life before you and after you.
Client centricity is about being sensitive to your client's needs and designing appropriate products to benefit them.
Client centricity is focusing on the needs and wants of your clients, understanding those needs and wants, and addressing the needs and wants in a timely manner.
Client centricity is finding ways to be much more useful and helpful to clients for a far broader range of their family goals.
Client centricity is shifting from thinking the company is the center of the world to realizing there is a son that is the client that will revolve around.
Client centricity is giving the opportunity to make choices.
Client centricity is really sitting down with your customers to understand how to offer a service that's really going to work for them on their terms.
Client centricity is the future. The future belongs to organizations which are client-centric. Those who are not will not exist.
Client centricity is the way to close the gap for the 2 billion who remain excluded.
Client centricity is when people call our customer care department and they refer to our agents by name.
Client centricity is being the client itself. That's it.
Client centricity means listening to your customers, understanding what they need, and providing services that meet those needs.
Client centricity is critical to financial inclusion.
Client centricity is a shared value sweet spot because it benefits clients and financial services providers alike.
Client centricity is the next generation of product design.
Client centricity is always having the client in your room and imagining she's listening to every one of your discussions and considering whether they actually make a difference.
Client centricity is a journey into rediscovered purpose for financial institutions, for their advisors like us, and ultimately for their clients.
Client centricity is actually supply centricity. Because when I go out and talk to people on the street, whether they be clients or potential clients, they really want to be clients and potential clients of economic inclusion, not necessarily financial inclusion.
It's a realization, a bit like Galileo, that clients don't revolve around us, we need to revolve around them.
Client centricity is everything. It's a no-brainer.
Are these on? I don't know if yeah, they're on. Okay, we'll be short because I think we know we're standing between you and some nice cocktails outside, but it's really nice to see the full room here still. Very full. Wow.
You sit on this chair.
That's right. Let's go, Bob. I think we have a couple of slides coming up. One or two. You on? Yeah. I don't know if you can read these, but I think as Jason told you all, there's been a really nice Twitter feed related to the symposium over the last 2 days. And looks like they're hard to read. so maybe I'll read some of them. Robert Fabricant, I think you all remember him from Dahlberg, from design, human-centered design. Business value beyond product usage. Oh, Ray, well, what is UX? Is that like some shorthand I'm not familiar with? Oh, thank you, young people. More than delivery of products. Alex Count, 7 million farmers used e-Nigeria?
Yeah, something that
E-wallet in
Nigeria.
2 straight sessions. It's about people and behavior, not tech. Microcredit Summit, Doug's comments about VUCA. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. So anyway, we tried to capture some of the tweets, and there was a Twitter feed that was quite active, and we tried to take out some of them. Oh, that helps a lot, actually. Thank you. But I think as we reflect over the last 2 days, and we follow sort of the structure of the conversation at this symposium, number 3, I think we know that the big themes that emerged again were around leadership. We started off with 2 great leaders talking about their work at Cellulant, talked about leadership and some of the behavior that has to start at the top, and then really lead and empower staff. That's so important, and how we build empathy with clients. And I remember at one session, I can't remember which one, where I think the speaker asked at the close of the session how many people now would go out and spend time with their clients. And I think what disappointed me a little bit was I didn't see as big a show of hands as I thought I would. So maybe that's something just to reflect on. Maybe we clearly need to do some more work on the building empathy with clients and understanding that customer and client experience. Then we went into a really interesting discussion with Gerhard and his team, his panel, about that client experience. And Ignacio, I think, delivered a very provoking talk, which I think, came at the end of the day and, fueled a lot of conversation afterwards. It was really, really interesting. And then we came today to the business case. And I think, honestly, we need to do more work on that. I think people are looking for more concrete examples of if you take client centricity on, not only, and I think Claire was really helpful in getting to some of what those metrics could look like, but if you really take it on, what is the cost and what is the ultimate payoff in terms of financial performance? And I think one of the areas we're going to need to work on in future symposia is to get to that level of detail and information for people here in the room. And then finally, we talked about some of the operational tweaks, whether it's moving call centers closer to your clients, thinking about how you change incentives for clients, or agents, how you look at net promoter scores, how you get really into developing better metrics that help your organization really organize around client centricity. But it sounds like, to me, there's more work to be done on that front as well. And then, of course, we close with this fantastic debate. And I'm one of those people, and I'm not revealing what I voted, who changed their mind. So I voted really on the basis of the debate, just to be fully transparent. I'm sort of technical on that front, rather than just the issue at hand. But be very interested. I think it's been a great 2 days. So, Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's been wonderful. I've heard so many comments from people kind of talking about how the symposia, the 3, have kind of built in a bit of a crescendo, how they're kind of getting stronger each year. And a bit of that is probably the sense of maturation of the idea of client centricity, more and more folks in the community working hard on becoming more client-centric, having stories that are deeper to talk about now. I think we've been able to reach out to organizations that are from outside the microfinance community and have great stories to tell about their own kind of client centricity, their own journey. So as these have progressed, there's a certain sense of of a deepening of the conversation. I think that's really come through. It's what struck me, maybe are three things. One is the leadership came up over and over and over again. Even though we had a segment on leadership, it ended up flowing through the whole thing. People kept coming back over and over again to how important and central leadership on client centricity is and going to be, and that's a great theme. I think we had an intuition about it when we set the agenda, but clearly it came back. The other thing I thought was strong was the sense of a business case, and again, far beyond the session on business case. I think it came up over and over again that we have companies, we have organizations that are looking at client centricity as a key, and the arguments for doing it have to do with understanding clients and being successful in business in the long term. So those things I kind of pulled out as themes that were both programmed but also recurring in all of the conversations in most of the different sessions. And I would say the final word that just cropped up so often and wonderfully, in fact, is empathy. You know, how many times has it come out in the conversations? And I love that, because to be empathetic, you have to start from a position of profound respect for the life of the person that you're empathizing with. And that is something that can easily get lost in both the standardization, the technification, the growth, the building of institutions. It is a relatively easy thing to lose. And so I was so happy and pleased, and it was unexpected to hear that come up over and over and over again. And I kind of love the fact that we can end with this word on the table.
I like that too, and it's almost where we started, you know, at the beginning of the conference, at the beginning of the symposium. So I want to thank Bob, you, as always. I want to thank everyone in the room for being so engaged, and now it looks like you're all really engaged in doing your survey forms, which is fantastic, because we take those, you are our clients in many ways, so we take the feedback really seriously. And I think what you can expect going forward is we're going to go deeper into this topic. You know, we haven't let go of it yet, so expect the next symposium to focus on the same theme. We're probably going to be very interested in bringing back more examples of how this topic is moving. You know, the foundation is funding a couple of really interesting programs around this, and new ways of capturing client data and insights and maybe new models. And I would bet, you know, we'll ask BIMA to come back and see where Matilda's been in the last year, and we'll do another prize. So a lot to look forward to. And I would expect we'll also see some more new players in the room as well. So, you know, we're very excited about where this conversation is taking us. So thank you all for being here, for being so engaged. And one last thing before I give up and yield the microphone. I do want to thank, and I always do this, I want everyone to stand up on the MasterCard Foundation team who has so supported this symposium over the last, and this both comes from Financial Inclusion, especially Sumaya Sajad. Please stand up. And we have a really, as you can tell, very, you know, crackerjack communications team. So Jason, want to thank you very much. And Roger Morier, who's helped a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, just to close, I think many of you can appreciate the hard work that went into getting you here, getting your arrangements sorted out. There are folks both from MasterCard and from the Boulder Institute who've worked far harder than anyone who hasn't put on one of these events knows to run what I think by any account has been a terrific event. So a lot of you folks from the back of the room, let's give you all a great hand.
And one last call out to Wayne, who's still filming us. But it's Wayne who's really done these fantastic videos and traveled with people to the field. And thanks. All right, have a drink.